Hi there. All right. So for the project, you can do your responses in a PowerPoint or something to that effect. I don't really care. I say PowerPoint, do whatever you like. I want a voiceover with it. You will not be presenting in class, but I want a voiceover done on the PowerPoint slash PDF slash Giggle slides, whatever you do. I don't care. So number one, I want you to find a map of some data that speaks to you. So for instance, okay, perhaps for me, might be food deserts in New York City. Yes. Oh, there we go. Maybe this is something that speaks to me. And see if I can find a map or an image about it. A lot of times you see this. Oh, yeah, look at this. These are food deserts. And so this map, like now, maybe this speaks to me because I live in New York City, or I used to, or whatever. And you're like, you're concerned about people not being able to eat properly. It's whatever your deal is, okay? I need to know why this speaks to you, okay? Don't try to BS me on it. If it doesn't speak to you, don't use it. It's not hard. There's plenty of data out there. Find a map or something that does speak to you, okay? It's not hard, okay? So you can ask yourself, well, why is it that you can't get any food in here? Well, property, whatever, crime, etc. Who knows? Okay, well, whatever. So these are problems, So and then that data speaks to you. Okay, cool. Why? Okay, um, why do people decide to share it with others? Okay, well, obviously, if you care about it, somebody else obviously cares about it. Why? Because they're trying to, raise awareness, try to get something done about it, raise money, blah blah blah, whatever. How could you make it better? Okay. It'd be nice if you could find yourself an interactive map, so like you can see it changing over time. For instance, in our case, I could slide a slider or something and go, oh, it's gotten worse, it's gotten better, etc., whatever. Okay. And then kind of ask yourself some of these questions. Okay. Now, again, I want it to be something that, oops, wrong one, dummy, that it appeals to you. Okay. Something that appeals to you. It could also be like, I don't know, crime and and then you can kind of come in there and zoom in on it. Maybe you can find yourself an interactive one. Maybe, I don't know, I just work here. Cool. And whatever. So, whatever. Please don't use the same ones I do. I find that annoying. So if I'm giving you an example, come up to your own. Okay. Uh, whatever it happens to be. Okay. Um, yeah. So every city has a map. Like this is a terrible map, by the way. I hate this style. It's heat maps. There's a little glob, little glob, little glob. So basically, change the whole freaking town. Okay, for the most part. Try to find ones that are not just a ginormous cluster like that. Try to find yourself ones a little better oftentimes. Perhaps you come in here, find your one, hey, these look a little nicer. Maybe this one here is a little better, whatever it is. Don't really care. It's up to you how you do it, but I'd like it to be interactive. So maybe you can watch it from 2020 to 2021, 22, whatever. Most of the time they will be stopped at 2020 or 2021. They won't probably have it completely updated. So look at that. And again, something that speaks to you, that's what I'm all about. Okay? Now, part two, find a statistic that speaks to you. Okay? Now, honest to God, I really don't care what your statistic is about. I just have to be, it speaks to you. Now, that said, do not pull some random statistic out and try to build some ginormous conclusion out of something that's just, yes, that is a data point. Okay? Do not try in your presentation to say something like, because I saw this one data point, therefore, blah, 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 blah. No. In this thing, what I want you to know is when you pop out a statistic, okay, I want to know, why does this speak to you? What does it tell me about, like, for instance, so maybe homelessness. I'm not going to use that one. You can use that one. Perhaps it's kids that can't read and write when they graduate from high school, low test scores, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Maybe that's what speaks to you. All right. And is it more of a rural and urban problem? Is it all over the place? Is it some states more than other states? Whatever. So when you do that, just don't throw out there that, uh, Oregon is, say, You could say something like Oregon is, 47th or out of 50 or whatever states. That's fine. But take it another step further, like, is it the entire state? Or is it Portland and Salem and some of the big population centers dragging us down? Where is it? Or is it pretty much across the board uniform? Okay? So don't just be that guy who just throws out a statistic like, oh, yeah, there it is. All right. And then for heaven's sakes, if you were to do that, don't do that one. This is mine. But if you're doing that one, please, for heaven's sakes, don't take the low-hanging fruit of, well, COVID, because that's lazy. Okay? It's just pure laziness. Okay? Been in education 27 years now. I'm going to tell you right now, yes, it's gotten worse, but it's not all about COVID. Okay? For instance, the last couple of years, there's been zero, and I mean zero discipline to speak of. Now, in part of some of that because of COVID, yes. Is in part because of that, because of some other programs, sure. But it's not as simple as saying, well, COVID's. Okay, so be careful when you tie something to that. Okay, we have an issue. Okay, why is this a big deal? Well, for me, I'd rather have kids come out of school being prepared for college, for life, for get a job, etc. Not having to come out of school and not be able to do anything. It's worthless to me because that bothers me. Okay, and so what can I do? What are you going to do about this? Is this something that you're trying to raise money for? Well, you're going to raise money for this, but this might be a situation where you got to go to the state. What can we do better? Okay, how can we change things? Something that's come up the last couple weeks. We've hired some people that are just like, really? That's it? There's 2 people applied for the job. Really? Okay, cool, interesting. And yet here's part of the problem. So 15, 20 years ago, the state of Oregon, state of Washington, both, and many other states too, made it to where you actually have to have a master's degree before you can teach, which is high school, which is ludicrous. For years, when I got out of high school, college rather, you get a bachelor's degree, you've already done your student teaching, boom, let's go. Then after you've been in a while, yes, you go back and get your master's degree, and at least pick up some credit. You don't have to get a master's, but you go back and pick up some credits. Then you get your continuing license, and show some professional development, et cetera, et cetera. And you can, of course, get your master's degree and do whatever. Okay, but then they changed it. Okay, now ostensibly it was to show that, that people have more knowledge or whatever. Da, da, da. Really, what it does is nothing. Okay, it's actually worse than nothing because kid never teaches until they got their degree. So I got a degree in English. That's right. What do you do? I'm gonna teach high school. You go teach high school, and you're like, in your student teaching during your master's degree program, you go, I hate this. This sucks. Yeah, yeah. You probably should have known that before because when I was a kid, you did several different small teaching assignments when you were still young enough in your bachelor's degree time to where you could change majors if you hated it because that's the whole point. Then they graduate. Okay, yay, 5 years, whatever. I got my master's degree now. Okay, cool. So starting pay is 40 whatever thousand. Okay, you're like, well, that's not a lot of money. No, it's not. It's not terrible. It's not great. It's whatever. But to have a master's degree to make that kind of money is like, wait, what? Yeah. So are they better teachers for it? Absolutely not. Okay, because the way they're coming out now, they go through an education program, quote unquote education program, where they talk about the kids' feelings and this and that and the other thing instead of actually teaching them how to I don't know, teach, okay, and so forth. And so all this touchy feely stuff, which once in a while is important, but for the most part you treat people right and whatever. So they go through all these education classes. When they come out, they're not a better teacher presenting math or English or science. Okay, so my thought would be to go back to, this is something I would say in our case, like, hey, we're having a hard time getting good teachers in. Obviously, that's part of our issue here. That's partly why our kids are struggling a little bit. There's a multifaceted approach, but maybe one thing that I could do would be go to the state legislature and say, hey, listen, let's roll back this idea that you have to have a master's degree to be a high school or junior high or even an elementary teacher, which that's the case, right, for all of those, which is ludicrous. Let's roll it back to get a bachelor's degree. Okay, wait, then more people could get in. That's right. Wait, then we'd have more people more interested in going into teaching. Yeah. And now you're going to obviously be a little lower pay at first until you get your master's degree move over. Okay, yes, but there's not as big of hindrance and you have as many debt incurred, for instance. So maybe people are more likely to come into it. Whoa, all right, cool. So that again, that's a idea, right? That's my idea, perhaps. Okay, you come with your own idea. Okay, whatever yours happens to be. Again, I want it to be something yours. Now, if you do a hot button topic, which is, hey, whatever, man, you go for it. Be careful when you throw out statistics. Again, do not come at it like this one person did a couple terms ago, where initially it was blah blah something about gun violence. All right, all right. And then the next thing I know, she went on a 15-minute tirade in class about how all white men are the problem. And okay, you need to stop talking right now. Now, granted, it's just you and me chatting here, but stay on topic. Okay? If your statistic is about gun violence, okay, for instance, or something of that nature, then you could talk about, how easy it is or how hard it is or whatever it is or what we could do to decrease it. That's fine. Just be careful. Stay on point. Okay, again, I'm not turning this loose to anybody. This is just between you and me in this case. Just be careful of that, all right? Nothing worse than turning people off. Well, there's worse things, I guess, but you turn someone off to your cause when you start attacking someone. The people in the classroom was very uncomfortable because they were all, white boys. Who are not school shooter type people, whatever. But anyways, this person just was going crazy, and everyone's like eating out of her hand. Oh, yep, doing great. Yep, we're right with you. We're right with you. And then, ooh, no one's with you. Okay, so just be a little aware of that. Okay, be aware. Okay, stay on point. Again, don't really care what your things are about. Now, the last thing is about a GIS program. Okay, that is where you can create your own maps for your data. You can make maps like this. Now, there's one called ArcGIS, where you can create your own account for free. Okay? And you can create your own account. It's a free account, and you can do a few things with it. Forget where it's at. Where did it go? Anyway, I believe there's a way still to make your own free account. At least there was recently. Let's see if I can find that free trial. There you go. Free trial version. Free version. There you go. So you can look that up. Whatever. Have fun with it. In essence, you can create maps, not unlike this kind of thing here. Okay. I will give you extra credit if you build a map in there. There used to be a thing called Google Fusion Tables. It was the coolest thing ever. Literally the best, but it's no longer free because it's too cool. Okay. But for instance, poverty rates by county in Oregon, you'd have COVID stuff, anything like that. There's all this stuff out there, and what you do is you would Google, let's see, well, for instance, poverty rates, Oregon counties. Okay, and then, okay, cool, boom, there they are, awesome, whatever. And then you could also then go into county map data, GIS data. There you go. Oregon. And so you can come in here and you can download the files. So as I was saying, you get to download the data, and then you also type in county map data shapefiles Oregon. And so when you do that, this one, there's a bunch of them. I can't tell you which one's the right perfect ones or whatever, but you just download the shapefile, and those shapefiles go into a spreadsheet, and then you can typically create it. Again, I don't know the exact details of ArcGIS. That's how it works with Fusion Tables. Anyway, I would consider this extra credit if a guy did this, and whatever. That'd be sweet. And then, yeah, be really cool too if when you're doing that, you would make yourself a video of yourself doing it, a screen capture. So it would be kind of cool and easy to see for future reference if another student was going to try that, kind of thing. All right. Well, good luck.